This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest video in my handicapping series. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at how to make money betting horses to win. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want your top choices to show a positive return on investment on the win end for an extended period of time. Now, I'm going to use two recent examples in this video from my full card analysis: Belmont Stakes Festival at Saratoga, June 6th through 9th, Santa Anita Park, June 14th through 16th. Now, for that Belmont Stakes Festival, I had a profitable festival for the 4 days with my full card top choices. So they ran a total of 47 races during that 4-day Belmont Festival, and I had 18 top choice winners. I had 3 on Thursday that week, 4 on Friday, 4 more on Saturday, and then I had 7 top choice winners that Sunday, the day after the Belmont Stakes. So the total amount bet based on $2 wagers would be $94 if you're betting all 47 races. And if you played those races and you played my 18 top choices, $108.50 were returned for a positive return on investment, $2.31. So that's basically for every $2 you bet, you got back $2.31. And of course, for this example, the positive return on investment is diluted because you would be betting every race. And later in this video, I'm going to show examples from the Saratoga and Santa Anita winners that I had and see how we probably should have bet on some of those horses. So now we'll go into the second part here. You don't want to bet every race. I was just saying that because that's definitely going to dilute your return on investment, and you just don't want to play that many races. There aren't that many playable races. You just can't play them all every day. So you need to pick your spots. So after you're showing a positive return on investment, you're going to have to come up with a strategy. Spot betting is the way that I like to go because you can't bet every race, and you want to stay away from the lowest odds favorites. There's just the risk-reward ratio just isn't there, and you just don't want to play those 1 to 2 shots to win. You don't want to dump all your money there. You just want to pass the race and move on to another one. And then some races are just too tough to play, too wide open, and you don't want to play those either, most likely. So for that example, some of the horses that had won at Saratoga and then Santa Anita, Ways and Means was one of my top choices, paid $2.40 to win for Chad Brown. Not a playable horse there. Linda's Gift was 1 to 2, only paid $3. Ultimate Gamble was another one at Santa Anita that won $3.20. And then Planetario winning San Juan Capistrano at Santa Anita at $3.40. So they were some of my top choices. I knew they were most likely going to win the race, but not a good flat betting opportunity there. So next would be the bankroll. You need to have a bankroll for your win wagers. Let's say you start with $500. So then, so now that you have your $500 and you think that you're ready to start making win wagers, how much should you bet on each of your win wagers? And that's where the money management comes into play. And the way that I like to handle it, the percentage of the bankroll. And one way that you can do it, that's a safe way to play it, would be 4% of your bankroll on each win wager. Maybe you shouldn't bet the same amount, 4% on each horse, but that's up to you. You have to decide how much you're comfortable wagering, and if you just want to kind of bet the same amount each race, at least from a percentage standpoint. So for my full cards, I do designate best bets and price plays. And typically for those 1, 2, maybe 3 races overall could be a best bet or a price play. But that depends on a variety of factors. Strength of opinion, number of bettable races on the card, field sizes, etc. So here is how I approach the win bets. So for my best bets, as I mentioned, I have best bets on my full cards, and the horses that I give out on my full cards are the horses that I like and that I am interested in playing as well. So for best bets, I would say 4 to 5% of your bankroll to win. So that would be, if you start with a $500 bankroll, 4% is your win wager for the first bet you're making. That would be a 20% bet, a $20 bet, excuse me. And then 5%, if you played that much of your bankroll, $25. So if you bet 4% of your $500 on your first win horse, you would be betting $20. If you bet 5%, you would be betting $25 on your first bet. And for my price plays, I typically stick around the 2 to 3% of the bankroll to win. $500 bankroll, 2% would be $10, 3%, $15. Okay, now we'll give out an example. So let's say your first wager wins. You start with 500, you bet 20 to win, that's 4%. He pays $10 to win. So you started at 500, and then after you've tabulated the wins and he paid $10, your bankroll now sits at $580. So then your next wager, your new wager amount, because you have 580, and then 4% of that would be $23. So then your next wager, you would be betting $23 on your next horse. And then other win bets that are not my best bets or my price plays, typically 1 to 2% of the bankroll. I may have a horse I like a little bit. I'm just kind of fooling around. He could be a big long shot that I don't have a strong opinion on, but I think he has a shot. I may bet that horse to win. But as I said, I try to stay away from the lowest price horses to win. And then also, if you feel more comfortable and you're not just wanting to bet to win, you can certainly bet to win in place. And typically you want to look at the pools and the place and show pools and see if there's any opportunities there. Maybe you want to get involved in the place and show pools as well. Now, most of this video is really just about flat betting, but as you get more experienced in it and you want to decide that, you want to bet to win and place because you're losing too many races, your horses are running second, and you're just missing out on some opportunities to cash. Let's say if the favorite's vulnerable, the place pool is in your favor, 40% win, 60% place. So for that same amount, so if you were betting $20, that would be 8 to win and 12 to place for that 40% win, 60% place. Of course, you can adjust your bet size, possibly up to 5 to 6%, depending on your strength of opinion. And because you're betting win and place, the chances of you cashing go up, so you can maybe risk a little bit more money. And then another wager, it's kind of just a fun wager that I like to throw in sometimes. Bet to win, place, and show. If the favorites in win, place, and show pools are vulnerable, at least one, possibly two of the favorites, or maybe all three, and you have a decent opinion, you have a nice field size, competitive race, and you have that strong opinion. So then the way that I like to do that is that win insurance wager. I think I've mentioned that before in some videos. So for every $2 you bet to win, you bet 4 to place, you bet 12 to show. You can double or triple that amount of the bet, depending on your strength of opinion, depending on your bankroll size, etc. So after you've proven to be successful betting horses to win over an extended period of time, and then I think that you can advance to the exotic pools. But if you're not showing a profit betting horses to win, most likely you're not making money in the exotic pools either. So now we'll go back to those Santa Anita and Saratoga races, and we'll throw up some of those winners now. And as I said, for Saratoga, for those 4 days, June 6th through 9th, 47 races. If you bet all 47, that's $94 bet, $108.50 return for a positive return on investment, $2.31. Now on June 6th, there were 10 races. Not going to bet all 10. I did have 3 top choice winners. Caldo Candy in race 3, Almost Gone Rocket, race 4, race 7, Ways and Means. As you can see, Almost Gone Rocket was 1 to 2, $3. Most likely not going to play that one. Same with Ways and Means, $2.40 to win. Going to skip that as well. But Caldo Candy was one of my best bets on the card, $7 to win. So that definitely qualifies for a 4 or 5% wager on that horse. Now, June 7th, there were 12 races, and that day I had some horses that weren't best bets, but did win the races. Arthur's Ride, $6.70 in the second race. So I could have had a smaller amount on that one. Army Officer, didn't make that horse a best bet, but I liked him a decent amount, $7.60 to win. Money's Gold only paid $3.50. That was most likely a pass there. Jefferson Street in race 8 paid $7. Again, not a best bet, but that's a horse that I did like on the card, so I could have definitely gone to the 2 to 3% on that horse. And then on June 8th, Belmont Stakes Day, 14 races, and some decent price winners there. Subrogate in the third race, $11.60. Definitely worth at least a smaller play there. Croupi, $7.10. Another one there in the sixth race. National Treasure paid $4.70. It's a little bit low, but that's one that I really thought had every advantage. Had that inner draw at 1 mile with speed and class. It just looked like he was going to have the advantage in that race, and he did. He ended up winning that one, paying $4.70. So that was one that I liked him, and maybe that price was okay considering the circumstances. It was only a 6-horse field in there. Now, Measured Time was one of my best bets on the card. The race before the Belmont Stakes, $8.20, definitely qualifies for a 4 to 5% best bet there. Now, June 9th, I had 11 races with 7 winners, but it was chalky. It was a wet track off the turf. So there were some conditions there, shorter fields, that you may not have wanted to get seriously involved in a lot of races. Doc Sullivan, I thought at $4.20 was more than fair in the third race. Spiteful Lily, $2.50. I listed that one as a best bet, but the odds were too low. The field size was too short. As I said, that wet track that day. As You Chase Me paid $11.60. That one was worth a small wager. Drake's Passage was a best bet, $3.80. Odds most likely too low there. Silver Skillet paid $8.40. That race was off the turf. Still like that one on top. Landed at $5.50 in the race after that. And then Spirit of St. Louis in the finale, $3.70. Then for Santa Anita Park, that's June 14th through 16th, there were 33 races for those 3 days. So you would have wagered $66. I had Top Choices winning 13 of those races, bringing back $68.20. Just a small positive return on investment there, $2.07. So again, you're not going to play all those races. You're not playing all 33 races for those days. You want to pick your spots. You want to skip, as I said, the races where the favorites are just overwhelming, and it's the risk-reward ratio just isn't worth it. And then some of the races could be too tough. You don't have a strong opinion. You want to skip those as well. So you just pick your spots. You look for the races that look like you have the strongest opinion, and maybe the horse will offer a bit of value. Desert Rhapsody won the second at $4.40. Jackstown, $2.80. Looked like a standout, wasn't worth a play. Midland's Money, same thing, $2.40. Now, I'll Have Another Kiss in the 7th race. And that was one worth playing. I picked that one because he was going to be controlling the speed, and went out there and won that race at $8. And then my best bet in race 9, Running with the Boys, $5.20. Worth a play there, 4 to 5% based on that best bet scenario that I mentioned. Now, June 15th, they had 11 races. I had some winners there. Hard Money Muchachos, Even Money in the second. I had a best bet winner, Miss McWhinney in the third, paid $6.60. Definitely worth that 4 to 5% bet. Linda's Gift at $3, not worth playing there. Thirsty in Vegas, maybe worth a small play at $10.20 in that 2-year-old race. And then Divine Propos paid $4. Didn't really have a strong opinion there. Probably wouldn't play that one. Now, June 16th at Santa Anita, they ran 12 races. And Montana paid $11. And I really liked that horse. It was a cheaper race. One of those claiming races. I had a feeling that horse was going to run a good race after a better than appears effort from an outer post. And I actually did play that one across the board. It was a shorter field, but it was a wide open race. And I thought that multiple horses could come in. And I really thought Montana would finish somewhere in the top 3. It definitely did. So I made some money in that race. And then the other 2 winners that day, Ultimate Gamble only paid $3.20. Not worth a play. And then Planetario at $3.40. Again, didn't play that one either. So what you want to do is you want to go through, and after you've handicapped the card, and then you want to watch the races that day. Track biases could pop up. A number of things could happen during that day of live racing, where you may or may not want to make your wagers. You could change your mind. Maybe you're not quite sure your horse is good. It's a speed favoring track. Maybe you want to bet less on that one because you still think he's going to run a good race. Like an example would be a horse like Krupi, who rallied anyway and won, despite the track being speed favoring at Saratoga. So I did make a small wager on Krupi and at $7, but that's just up to you. You have to decide that as the day is going on. So now we went back and we looked at those Saratoga and Santa Anita examples. Now we're going to look at some resources. And one of the websites that I purchased my handicapping books from, which has enabled me to become a successful horse player over the years, RPM Handicapping Giant. And I started purchasing handicapping books from them in the late 1990s. They were just a catalog where they would mail to your house, and they would mail the books to you. Now, obviously, they have an online store now. You can go right onto their online store and look at all the products that they offer, and then decide what you would like to have. And I'm going to recommend some books. And the first one is called Power Handicapping by David Powers. Now, that book definitely helped shape my wagering style and in the way that I come up with my wagering strategies. Now, you want to include in that book positive ROI. So I was able to read the book, learning about positive ROI, wagering psychology, bankroll management, and so much more in that book. So that's a valuable book for making money, understanding the psychology. Like if you're losing wagers, you don't want to start chasing money. If you win, you don't want to get too excited and start betting too much of your bankroll. You just want to kind of just keep betting that same amount of your bankroll over and over again. Now, there could be certain meets, for instance, Del Mar in the summer. I do well there, and it's competitive, good field sizes for California, and I can get some decent value there. So I may bet a little bit more. I could up my bankroll from 4 to 5, maybe to 5 to 6% on some of the wagers there, just because I do well over the years at Del Mar. And so that's things that you have to decide. Again, the comfortable amount that you're comfortable betting. And so other helpful titles besides Power Handicapping, Easy Money Pro, that's a good book. I've read that one. Consistent Handicapping Profits is another. But they have a ton of titles over at RPM, Handicapping Giant. So you can purchase those titles and more at rpmhandicappinggiant.com. And in the description in this video, I'm going to include the link to their website, those book titles that I mentioned earlier in this video. And those will be in the description for this video below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. I'm going to be doing more of these handicapping video series of videos in the future. I've done some on wagering strategies for trifecta, superfecta, and some other wagers. Went through the win wagering, how to handle that in this video. And then I recommended those books at rpmhandicappinggiant.com. So it'll make you a better player overall. So you can peruse their big library if you're interested in that. And that will wrap up this video. And you can go over to my personal website, therunawayhorse.com, for handicapping articles, free picks, full card analysis. I'm going to be covering full cards from Del Mar every day this summer. I have a daily best bets blog there. You can read, it's called Better Bets, and you can read my daily free pick from across the country every day. Or just go to my homepage, and at the top, you're going to see a Better Bets tab. Click there. You can check out my free picks each day. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the social media. And then I obviously do a lot on YouTube as well. My YouTube channel continues to grow, over 5,000 subscribers, over 1 million total views. And hopefully this channel keeps growing in the future. And that will wrap up this video. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.